Welcome to Make It Last with Say Jaf and Kas. I'm your host, Harry Cassell.
Jafari Roberts.
Say Off Wilani.
Rolling with you for about 10 to 15 minutes, so let's make that time last.
Let's start it off. March Madness was incredible, guys.
March Madness was so good.
Great tournament.
Great.
And it kind of sucks that the last game did not live up to the hype of
the last game only didn't live up to the hype because of how good the other games were. You had games like Wisconsin versus the Gators, UCLA versus Kentucky, South Carolina made an unprecedented run, and Gonzaga had an easy path, and it just wasn't fun watching them play.
At NCAA, please change your bracketing. There's no way Gonzaga had to play those teams to get to the finals. They were a great team, but come on.
And the calls, it was everything. Every touch call was called, and it just wasn't a flowing game.
But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what you guys are here for, which is Say Off had the worst bracket in our March Madness tournament. No surprise.
Thank you.
So according to our Twitter poll, you guys voted at Say Jaf Kas. 56% of you said Say Off has to eat a ghost pepper during the show.
Good luck.
We have interviews.
I'll take it.
We have interviews lined up with MMA fighter Devontae Sewell and Atlanta-based stand-up comedian Michael Drake. We're gonna put it up as bonus content so Say Off doesn't ruin a whole show. So go vote and say, would you rather Say Off ruin a video with an MMA fighter or with an Atlanta-based comedian?
Would you rather have me get made fun of by an MMA fighter or a comedian? Your choice.
Always fun.
It's going to be fun
Always
either way.
fun. Yeah,
Exactly. Moving on. So last Tuesday, we went to our pool, and to be fair, we have a very nice pool. It gets very populated.
Bless.
It's great. But we went on Tuesday, and so we were very surprised when around 3 or 4, there's a lot of people there. And even more surprised when Chris Chioza and Devin Robinson from the U.S. basketball team just showed up at our pool.
And Churro and Robinson did not beat us in beer pong.
They also didn't play us in beer pong, to be fair.
It was kind of, that was bad.
Well,
It's kind of funny because you think these like Elite 8 basketball players would get stormed by a bunch of women, but us three walk up to them and we're like, oh my god, Devin Robinson, you're declaring for the draft. This is so crazy. What's going on? To which Devin Robinson, I don't know why you fronted with me. I walked up to him. I was like, hey man, congratulations on your run. Look forward to seeing you in the NBA. And he was like, I don't know, man. A lot of moves ahead of me. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to declare. If you Google Devin Robinson, Google Devin Robinson right now. You want to know what comes up? Declares for the draft.
Yep.
No,
we all know you're declaring.
You don't got a front, D-Rob.
No, he acted like he didn't even know what the NBA was. Right? He's like, NBA, what's that?
All right, so moving on. When the artists came out for the Final Four that were going to be headlining and playing, the shows and whatnot, and the artists were at the most disappointing. It was headlined by Aerosmith.
The artists were not typical artists that you think of when you think of basketball.
They're successful, but they just didn't match the mood. It was headlined by Aerosmith. There was Keith Urban, Blink-182, and Macklemore, which, I mean...
So Bleacher Report had their David Gardner go out and interview some of the athletes to see what they had to say about the talent. We have some of those quotes right here.
So starting off, we have Jonathan Williams from Gonzaga, and he says, I wish they had J. Cole. J. Cole is fire.
J. Cole is fire.
I can't disagree. J. Cole is fire.
Thank you, J. Will.
Moving on, we have Evan Hinson from South Carolina. He says, I've heard of Aerosmith, but please do not ask me to name any of their songs.
That's such a say-off thing to say.
It's a very say-off thing to say.
I've heard of them, but let's not talk about this any further.
And keep in mind, he's from South Carolina, so if anyone's going to know about Aerosmith, it's probably him.
Stillman White of North Carolina.
The whitest person in the tournament.
Said, Blink is GOAT. Easy Target is my favorite song.
It's a B-list song.
Very B-list.
Yeah, he was real. You know what I mean? And even Stillman White, when asked about Keith Urban, said he's not a big country guy. And Christian Smith of South Carolina had the best quote of all time, saying, quote, I honestly don't know what the deal is with this lineup. All you need is Drake, Future, and Migos, and we'd all be happy. And then, when further asked about it, he doubled down, saying, no one in here listens to Macklemore.
Amazing.
I mean, he wasn't wrong about anything.
Which upsets me because I know Bleacher Report is just a visual medium, but I need the audio of Christian Smith saying no one in here listens to Macklemore.
Please, if anyone out there is listening can find that audio clip, leave it in the comments for us. We need it.
In NBA news, Lance Stephenson compares his comeback to the comeback of Michael Jordan.
Whoa, Lance, calm down.
What?
Lance is he's clearly referring to the first comeback, but like, Mr. Stephenson, I'm sorry, you're not even good enough to be Wizards Mike.
Not even close.
For those of you that don't know, 80-year-old Michael Jordan played on the Wizards.
Maybe 81, who knows?
He played in all 82 games. LeBron.
Looking at you.
Oh, whatever. Dad.
Averaged 20, 6.1, and 3.8, which is way better.
For NBA
Way better.
standards,
What did Lance
but it was
Stevenson
very-
average on the Timberwolves this year? I think 4.1.
Maybe like 3, 1, and 2. I don't
The
know.
last time Lance Stevenson was on the Pacers, he led the league in triple doubles with 5.
I don't want to talk about 5 Westbrook had his 41st triple double literally like 10 minutes
Like
ago.
just now.
Like 10 minutes ago.
yeah.
I don't want to talk about someone that had 5 in like 2009. Like let's
Not
do it.
relevant. Not relevant. So-
In pop culture news, Drake canceled his show in Amsterdam.
I wouldn't want to be seen in public either if Kendrick kept doing things.
Ooh. My man Drake just got so stoned that he just completely forgot about Kendrick and what he's doing.
And then-
Drake had a show in Amsterdam and was just like, "Wait, I have a show where?"
That's amazing.
This next bit was scrapped. We wanted to talk about Colin Kaepernick, and when anyone on ESPN talks about him, they just say that he's a distraction, which I personally really don't like, because that's a word that people use about Ray Rice and Greg Hardy and people that are involved in real scandals.
Josh Brown.
And if someone, I feel like Kawhi Leonard in the NBA had an attitude even similar to him, he would be the NBA. It would be hands down. Russell Westbrook could have 1,000 triple doubles. It wouldn't matter, because that's the swag that people like, but they
want
don't want
drama.
it thrown in your face. And we were going to have a whole nice discussion about that, but a new Rick and Morty came out and they talked about the Szechuan sauce from 1998 on McNuggets at McDonald's, so
Way more important.
we're not going to not talk about that.
That Szechuan sauce is very, very dank. And you know what? I feel like Dan Harmon just wanted Szechuan sauce.
For those of you that don't know, Dan Harmon, the creator of Cartoon Network show Rick and Morty, as well as Community, and I feel like he just wanted Szechuan sauce. I feel like he could wake up tomorrow on Community and be like, "Hey, Abed, you know what you want? Pepsi Blue." And then 9 crates of Pepsi Blue are delivered to wherever Dan Harmon lives. Probably
Well, he has
studio
very,
apartment.
Very devoted fans. So, Harry, I heard you had some fun yesterday playing some wheelchair basketball.
I did. I played wheelchair basketball this week. The UF Health Science Student Organization teamed up with Balance 180, and we volunteered, and it was a lot of fun. I didn't think I'd enjoy it as much as I did.
That's awesome. So, Harry, I mean, you're a pretty big guy, you know. You play basketball. I feel like you
Not
have a
well.
pretty
Not
mean... Okay, not alright. But you have a mean pick and roll game, and I feel like this was the most literal pick and roll you could have possibly done. So I gotta commend you for
So
that,
no
bro.
picks,
This is the
just
worst
roll.
joke.
I feel like it's more roll than pick, but you know, we'll keep it good.
I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna give you some of my thoughts from wheelchair basketball. First thought started with the jump ball. Didn't like that.
Poor
Didn't
taste.
like that. Yeah.
Poor taste.
They should not call it stretch out of your seat ball.
Tip off?
Tip off would be good, but it's very hard to jump in a wheelchair. I don't know if you guys have been in a wheelchair. Very hard to jump.
You can't jump.
I did that one thing also where you guys know when the ball is going out of bounds and you jump in the air and you grab it and you throw it at someone's feet and then flies out of bounds so it's your ball.
Yeah.
I did that, but I threw it at this one kid's wheelchair and it bangs off his wheelchair and goes in the opposite direction and we get the ball back. And I feel like when I say kid, you guys are like, "Oh, another college student." I threw it at like a 9-year-old. Like,
Oh my god.
his mom runs over to me all pissed off and I'm just like, "Listen, lady,
Ball's
my
life.
ball. My ball."
That's how
Ball's life.
football is life, dude. Ball don't lie.
I got into it with the ref. The ref kept going up to me. It was the blue team and the white team, and he was like, "Blue ball," which is hard not to laugh when someone screams "blue ball." But I was like, "Listen, sir, we are the Portland Trailblazers, and we're playing the Miami Seats. So if you could call us by our real names," and he was like, "Stop giving everyone nicknames," and I was like, "Listen here, Mr. Cuddles, we're gonna keep playing the way I want to play." And
We're doing this ring my
Mr.
way.
Why Mr. Cuddle?
my third thought about wheelchair basketball was it's really hard. It's much because you're used to getting shots with your legs, and you know
Right.
while you're sitting in a chair, you got to go like all wrist. It was super
Yeah, I
difficult.
feel like the movement would be like pretty hard too.
Were you using an electric wheelchair?
Really? Jesus. Please stay off.
That was the second.
I take it back. That's the worst.
That
joke.
was the worst joke
in the episode.
Thank you guys so much for listening to
I
Say
was
Jaf and Kas
forced.
this week. If you like the show, subscribe to our YouTube page, follow us on Twitter at Say Jaf Kas. Make sure you vote on that poll and keep up with the show. And do not forget who loves you.
Who loves them?
We
We do.
them.
We love
do.
them.
Yeah.
Okay, we love them. All
That's
11
us.
of you.